Okay, let us start. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnana-Jana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakam Shri Gurun Vaishnavams Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathambitam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Dev Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Prachaya Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatadini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradaya Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaudakrishe Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapati Gopesh Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostu Taptakanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Nilachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Shri Jagannathaya Te Namah Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhuve पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे पंकरोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम् Hare Krishna. So today we will begin chapter 11 of Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 11, we see the description of Vishwarupa. Arjuna is requesting for the universal form of the Lord. And having interfaced the universal form of the Lord, Arjuna is praying to the Lord. And then again hankering for the two-handed form, the Shyamasundar form of the Lord back again. Arjuna's request comes in text 1 to 4. Text 5 onwards, the universal form of the Lord is displayed. 5:15 probably, and after that Arjuna's prayers are there. That is how this particular section flows. So let's take up from 11.1 onwards. So we are reading 11.1. अनुग्रहाय परमं गुह्यम् अध्यात्म समश्नितम् यत्त्वयोक्तं वचस्तेन मोहोऽयं विगतो मम. Arjuna said, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential subject matters, my illusion has now been dispelled. This chapter reveals Krishna as the cause of all causes. He is even the cause of Mahavishnu, from whom the material universes emanate. Krishna is not an incarnation, he is the source of all incarnations. That has been completely explained in the last chapter. Now, as far as Arjuna is concerned, he says that his illusion is over. This means Arjuna no longer thinks of Krishna as a mere human being, as a friend of his, but as the source of everything. Arjuna is very enlightened and is glad that he has such a great friend as Krishna. And now he's thinking that although he may accept Krishna as the source of everything, others may not. So, in order to establish Krishna's divinity for all, he is requesting Krishna in this chapter to show his universal form. Actually, when one sees the universal form of Krishna, one becomes frightened, like Arjuna. But Krishna is so kind that after showing it, he converts himself again into his original form. Arjuna agrees to what Krishna several times said. Krishna is speaking to him just for his benefit. So Arjuna acknowledges that all this is happening to him by Krishna's grace. He is now convinced that Krishna is the cause of all causes and is present in everyone's heart as the Supersoul. Just like in an airplane, it is the pilot who is driving the airplane, but the pilot is not visible because he's in a different chamber. Similarly, the Lord is not visible. So, whatever in reality is visible to us, that is just like a compartment. It's like in a particular chamber, the other chamber is not visible. So, the pilot's driving chamber, the passengers don't have access to, and therefore they don't see the pilot unless he himself chooses to come out. He has access to the passenger chamber, but the passengers don't have access to the driver's chamber. Similarly, the Lord has access to our purview and vision, but we don't have access to the Lord's comfort. That is the point. And therefore, the Lord is invisible. That is why Krishna is only known by his by revelation. Only, and that's why Arjuna is calling out to Krishna, that, oh Lord, you please become visible to everyone so that everyone can appreciate. So here it is being said that Arjuna has got completely convinced that how Lord Krishna is the source of everything. It is a spiritual knowledge which makes everything understandable to the living entity. Because in this material world, things are not understandable. One is just not able to understand what is happening, why it is happening. So the understanding can only dawn when there is spiritual vision, when there is spiritual understanding, or the spiritual knowledge is dawned on the person. So this spiritual knowledge acts like a digestive enzyme because it digests everything, whatever we interface in this world. So, like living entity is not able to understand why is he growing old, why is he becoming diseased. The living entity is not able to understand. Why do people die? People are not able to understand why do people die. So materially, many things are there like this which are very difficult to understand. But with spiritual vision, you can understand. When you understand, okay, when we get the knowledge, oh, I'm not this body after all. This body is just is a casing. So when not the body, the body is just like a casing. So then the changes of the body, the dwindling of the body, will not be such a tormenting process because I'll understand anyway that is the case. So unless we have the spiritual understanding or the spiritual knowledge, the understanding is very difficult. That is the point here. So Srila Prabhupada explains that Arjuna is requesting for the Lord to reveal the universal form for the benefit of the living entities in this world, so that they can also understand and appreciate how Lord Krishna is the source of everything. Now, the reality of this universal form is quite frightening, as Prabhupada is mentioning in the purpose. Why it is frightening? Because the reality of Krishna exposes the fog-like reality of the material world. So when the sun rises, the fog cannot be there. So therefore, when Krishna reveals, then the the illusory fog of the material conception, bodily conception no longer prevail. And that's why it's a bit frightening because one will see that this matter is very temporary and flickering, and this matter will get broken apart very quickly. That's the point. One can see that this matter will get broken apart very quickly. And because so it is frightening for a person who is very attached to the body. Because the dwindling of the body becomes very evident. The material world, one is always wanting to see the body is intact, the body is very cozy. But the reality will completely expose it how this body is fleeting and dwindling. And therefore, to the degree person is attached, that degree the person may become fearful and it will be frightened. Bhavapyayo hi bhutanam Shutau Vistaraso Maya Twatah Kamala Patraksha Atmayam apishapyayam. Atmayam apishapyayam. Oh, Lotus Side 1. I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity, and I've realized your inexhaustible knowledge. Arjuna addresses Lord Krishna as Lotus Eye. Krishna's eyes appear just like the petals of a lotus, out of his joy, for Krishna has assured him in a previous chapter. Aham Krishnasya Jagata Prabhava Pralayas. I am the source of appearance and disappearance of this entire material manifestation. Arjuna has heard of this from the Lord in detail. Arjuna further knows that in spite of his being the source of all appearances and disappearances, he is aloof from them. As the Lord had said in the ninth chapter, he is all pervading. Yet he is not personally present everywhere. That is the inconceivable opulence of Krishna, which Arjuna admits that he has thoroughly understood. The modern materialistic idea is that the appearance and disappearance of living entities has happened somehow or the other. And because one thinks that this is happening somehow or the other, therefore one wants to uh, because one says, oh, somehow or the other it has happened. How it happened, we don't know. So therefore, that mentality is there to grab on and hold on to it, or somehow or the other to preserve it so that it can continue its state. That is the idea. But when we know the reality of existence, we know that okay, Krishna can create any number of appearances. And therefore, one is not too much obsessed and attached to it, neither to hold on to it, nor one is too much uh, exploded when it breaks. Because the devotee is surrendered to Krishna, devotee knows what now Krishna wants. Krishna can give me anything, Krishna can take away anything. It's not a problem. It is just like if the mother has prepared a plate of feast for the child and given to the child, and the child is happy eating. But in between, some third person has come, some neighbor comes, some cousin comes, and they are asking for the plate the child will not give. They try to snatch, he'll cry. But the mother is asking back the plate for some reason. And that will not strike fear in the child. The child understands that there's no problem. So the mother is asking back, maybe she'll put more items and give back. So in the same way, when we understand that Lord Krishna is behind all the appearances and disappearances, and the fear will go because uh, that phobia that okay somehow or the other things have happened and somehow or the other I am able to fit in this world. I don't want to change these settings. This kind of fear will go away because you'll understand that Lord Krishna can put me in any settings, and the Lord Krishna will give me the intelligence how to maneuver through those settings. So I don't have to grab on to some chance coincidences that somehow or the other okay I have found uh, a way how to handle this particular state. No, the devotee understand that Krishna can help me uh, in any setting he puts me in. So therefore, the person is not frightened with these appearances and disappearances. So again, we see, suppose a child is having a chocolate and somebody comes to get that chocolate, the child very difficult for him to. So, but the child is very confident that he has a very good relationship with the mother or the father. Anytime he asks anything, they'll give him. So in such a case, the child may not mind giving the chocolate to others also. Because he knows, okay, my mother, father will give me again, not just one piece, 10 pieces they can give. But if he knows that he's a belligerent fellow, and mother, father are very much fed up with him. Somehow he had got chocolate, and he won't get any because he has very recently played mischief, and they won't give him any. Now he'll be very, very possessive because he doesn't have good relation. He'll be very, very possessive because he knows he'll not get. He has already done mischief. His resume is very. But if he knows that he is, no, the parents consider him very mature and very responsible, and whatever he says, they value and they supply anything to him, then he won't mind sharing with others heartily. You say, okay, you want it, you can take it. You want full, you can take full also. Because he knows that, okay, I give to them, I'll get money more. So there is no dearth in my supply. But if he knows that there is crunch in supply, then he'll be very, this thing. So that's why people are fearful. That's why people are so much attached. That's why people are so much frenzied about the upkeep of their own individual sitting, their body, and things related to the body. Because they feel that, okay, somehow or the other, I have got it squeezed out, but I don't know whether it will come again. Because the people, the materialists, who do understand that they don't have the good punya karma, that it will happen to them again. Somehow it got this time. They have got money, they have got some fame, they have got IIT rank and all. But whether it will happen again, there's no guarantee because they are not practicing, no Krishna consciousness. So therefore, a devotee not be built. So the devotee knows that no problem. Krishna will give me again. So when we understand Krishna's source of all appearances, then actually what happens is a person is not crushed. Person is not frightened. Why? Because the person sees. So when one becomes confident of one's relationship with Krishna, and when one understands that this one relationship with Krishna is the reality of the world, everything else is an illusion, everything else is a movie, everything else is a drama, then one will not be frightened. Like people even watch violent movies, with violence and stunts, and they're not afraid. They're enjoying it. Ah, very nice, very nice, because they know that they are not. It's not reality. But suppose that kind of thing is happening in reality, it will not be enjoyable. Like suppose in a movie there is a train which has gone out of control and about to crash here there, collide with the mountain rock or something, or fall into a ditch or something. So everybody in the train is fearful, and the people who are watching they are enjoying. They are eating popcorn, they are enjoying. So why? Because they are very much convinced that they are not a part of that, and therefore they are happy. But if one is a part of that, then it is going to be very painful, very very miserable experience. So just goes to show that. So when one is having a real Krishna conscious knowledge, and one understands that this what is happening at my bodily plane is a movie, is a drama. So I should not get frightened. Like in reality, if somebody is coming with a dagger to kill us, it will be a very dangerous scene. We'll be very much palpitated and fearful. But a drama, if somebody is coming to kill, with a sword, then we have no problem in drama. Now we can also behave as if I'm not afraid. No, I'm also, come on, then we make you afraid. But in reality, somebody is coming, will try to run away. Will say what not, I'll give combat. Very difficult. Like, this is the point we have to understand. That's why we know Krishna is the source of all appearance and disappearance. Whatever turns the material affairs take, everything is still happening uh, under the order of the Supreme Lord. And therefore a devotee has nothing to fear. एवमेतद् यथाथा त्वम् आत्मानं परमेश्वर द्रष्टुमिच्छामि ते रूपम् ऐश्वरं पुरुषोत्तम. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position, as you have described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. But the Lord said that because he entered into the material universe by personal representation, the cosmic manifestation has been made possible and is going. Now, as far as Arjuna is concerned, he is inspired by the statements of Krishna. But in order to convince others in the future, you may think that Krishna is an ordinary person. Arjuna desires to see him actually in his universal form, to see how he is acting from within the universe, although he is apart from it. Arjuna addressing the Lord as Purushottama is also significant, since the Lord is the Supreme Personality of God. He is present within Arjuna himself. Therefore, he knows the desire of Arjuna. He can understand that Arjuna has no special desire to see in his universal form, for Arjuna is completely satisfied to see him in his personal form of Krishna. The Lord can understand that Arjuna wants to see the universal form to convince others. Arjuna did not have any personal desire for confirmation. Krishna also understands that Arjuna wants to see the universal form, set a criteria. For in the future, there will be so many impostors who would pose themselves as incarnations of. The people therefore should be careful. One who claims to be Krishna should be prepared to show his universal form to confirm his claim to the people. So, but the Lord can understand also that Arjuna wants to see the universal form to convince others. Arjuna did not have any personal desire for confirmation. Krishna also understands that Arjuna wants to see the universal form, set a criteria for the future. There will be so many impostors who would pose themselves as incarnations. The people therefore should be careful. One who claims to be Krishna should be prepared to show his universal form to confirm his claim. All these material affairs look attractive just because we don't know how it is working out. So the aura of mysticism comes from our ignorance, and therefore everything in this material world appears to be very exciting. Hmm. See, mysticism and mishap go hand in hand together. Suppose mysticism, mysteriously something good has happened to a person. Now one can be very excited about it. Oh, so wonderful. But just because one doesn't know why good happened, similarly one will not get to understand and digest why bad happened. So mysticism will be always accompanied with mishap. So actually, lack of knowledge of Krishna consciousness is very detrimental because one makes very colossally great mistake. One of the reasons why false ego is fed also is because of this ignorance. When one understands something has come from Krishna, then that will lead to gratitude, dependence on the Lord, commitment to the Lord, and so on. But when one takes off Krishna, then one is understanding that okay, all of us things, all of a sudden this thing, this idea has popped. Then one thinks that oh, maybe I am very great because this idea has popped up from me. He is not able to understand that the inspiration is coming from Krishna. Atta smritir jnanam abhuman. But because person does not know Matta Smritir Jnana, person thinks maybe it is coming because I am actually so good. No? So my greatness is being manifested. Only problem is next time the repeatability will not happen. Even though the person can proclaim himself very great, the repeatability may not happen. So only in ignorance can the false ego be fed. When there is light, the false ego cannot sustain or cannot be there. How it can be? When one understands that okay, this idea which came to me, this coming from Krishna, it's not me. How can one be puffed up there? Only when we think that okay, it is me, I have done it, then only one can be puffed. Similarly, the other side of the polarity, when something wrong happens, the person is not devastated because one thinks that okay, this is also coming from Krishna. Krishna may be doing it, but for a temporary period of. Like I remember, I was very small. It seems that I was a bit naughty. Sometimes my mother would put me in a storeroom. There was a very small storeroom in the house, which was, and she would close the light. I would feel very fearful in that. And sometimes lizard would pass over my body also, no? And I was helpless. So, so when she would put in the storeroom, so I would be crying, but I would know after some time she'll take me out because I knew my mother has put me in. I knew that no, I would be taken out after some time. It may be 20 minutes, half an hour, but she would take me out. So And so I would be meditating on, okay, what all wrong I have done that has agitated her. Maybe next time I'll not do because the lizards pass over my body. It is very frightening. Like that. A lot of lizards were there. So, but imagine if the conception of mother is only not there, then one is put in a dark room and one doesn't know, the when one will come out or whether one will come out. Then it is a very catastrophic experience. But no, my mother has put me here. My mother wants, she can take me out in it. So sometimes I would cry very loudly, that would all work immediately. Sometimes I would be very sober, that will work. So, so at least the mother is there, one knows that this phase will go. She can reverse this phase. And maybe I have done some wrong, I should not have done it. But there's no conception of the mother, very difficult to take. मन्यसे यदि तत् शक्यम् मया द्रष्टुम् इति प्रभो योगेश्वर ततो मे त्वम् दर्शयात्मानम् अव्ययम्. Do you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord? O Master of mystic power, then kindly show me unlimited universal form. It is said here that one can neither see, hear, understand, or perceive the Supreme Lord Krishna by the material senses. But if one is engaged in loving transcendental service to the Lord from the beginning, then one can see the Lord by revelation. Every living entity is only a spiritual spirit. Therefore, it is not possible to see or to understand the Supreme Lord. Arjuna, the devotee, does not depend on a speculative strength. Rather, he admits his limitations as a living entity and acknowledges Krishna's inestimable position. Arjuna could understand that for a living entity, it is not possible to understand the unlimited infinite. If the infinite reveals himself, then it is possible to understand the nature of the infinite by the grace of the infinite. The word Yogeshwara is also very significant here because the Lord has inconceivable power. If he likes, he can reveal himself by his grace, although he is unlimited. Therefore, Arjuna pleads for the inconceivable grace of Krishna. He does not give Krishna orders. Krishna is not obliged to reveal himself unless. Krishna is not obliged to reveal himself unless one surrenders fully in Krishna consciousness and engages in devotional self. It is not possible for persons who depend on the strength of their mental speculations to see Krishna. So here we can see Srila Prabhupada is highlighting a very important principle. So only by revelations we can understand. See, Arjuna's attitude is very exemplary. Arjuna is not questioning the Lord. Oh Lord, do you have the power to show universal form? Arjuna is saying from his point of view, he's saying, I'm not qualified. If I have qualifications, oh Lord, please show your mercy. So one keeps a universal form in one's awareness and consciousness and meditation. Such a person will never be attracted to this material. Because such a person will see, okay, things which are appearing very glittering and attractive, they're only there for a flick of a second. After that, they'll go into the lost. So why should I waste my life? So we see that. So we will see the illusion percolates or pervades in the form of the misuse of matter. When matter is misused, it percolates and continues carries forward that illusion. Similarly, transcendence is also based on matter. When that same matter is offered to Krishna, then it paves the way for transcendence. So universal form is showing matter in connection to it. That how everything is being created and manifesting, it's not some luck factor, it's not some eureka factor. It is Krishna who's supplying, it's Krishna's maintenance. Something in annihilated is not the end of the world because it's Krishna only, everything is coming from Krishna and everything is getting annihilating in Krishna. The Lord is only orchestrating everything. So the point is here that when one sees the material variegatedness, one can be absolutely bewildered. And because one is seeing so much facets and of razzle and dazzle, then one thinks, let me hold this and let me grab this and let me grab that. Again, I may not get it. So, but when one sees Krishna as the basis, then uh, then that is like seeing a pattern between the variety. So when one is seeing a pattern within the variety, then one knows that okay, it is a similar pattern or it is one kind of pattern. And therefore, these varieties are not something very unique or that never it is going to come again or something like that. So, there's a person not much bewildered because one sees Krishna is our actual foundation. And that's what Arjuna is requesting Krishna that, oh Lord, I don't have qualification, but if you feel that I am capable, then please reveal your universal form. That is the idea. So now from text 5 onwards, the description of the universal form starts. Text 5 onwards, and the description of the universal form starts. We'll take a few verses together and then continue forward the next step. श्री भगवान पश्यमे पार्थ रूपाणि शताशो अथ सहस्रशः नानाविधानि दिव्यानि नानावर्णाकृतीनि च. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, son of Prithvi, now see my opulences, hundreds and thousands of varied, divine, and multicolored forms. Arjuna wanted to see Krishna in his universal form, which, although a transcendental form, is just manifested for the cosmic manifestation, and therefore subject to temporary time. So Krishna's universal form is subject to temporary time of this material nature. As the material nature is manifested and not manifested, similarly the universal form of Krishna is manifested and not manifested. It is eternally situated in the spiritual sky like Krishna's other form. It is not eternally situated. As far as the devotee is concerned, he is not eager to see the universal form. But because Arjuna wanted to see Krishna in that way, Krishna reveals this. This universal form is not possible to be seen by any ordinary man. Krishna must give one the power to see. So there is this universal form is very unique because it represents Krishna and not represent Krishna. Krishna is manifested also, unmanifested also. That's what is being explained here. And that is something so in fact universal form is like Krishna's transmission or it's like Krishna's transmission. So it's like a video transmission at a particular location. So Krishna, when that matter is connected to Krishna, signal is there, the video Krishna is transmitted, or Krishna becomes visible. When the matter is not offered to Krishna, the connection is not there, Krishna is not visible. That's how we see material energy as. So the process of seeing Krishna uh, is through connecting to Krishna. Therefore, there is no question of any vision without service. And that is why our whole parampara is based on service. That is genuinely serve Krishna. But there is no question of any vision without service. So the service purifies the heart, and by that purified heart leads to the tears of love in the eyes, and that washes off the cataract, and one is able to see. This is what Premanjana Charita Bhakti is. Only by service we can see, we can see Krishna everywhere. And one sees Krishna everywhere, one will no longer be attached to matter, material energy. So therefore, two things are there. Through service, our heart is getting purified. We can get vision of Krishna, Krishna's revelation. And second, when we don't see things with our eyes, we see things. We can see things with our intelligence. That is why, whether we realize or not, one has to see through intelligence and act, and realization may come in due course. Yes, पश्यादित्यान् वसून् रुद्रान् अश्विनौ मरुतस्तथा बहुनि यादृष्टपूर्वाणि पश्य आश्चर्याणि भारत O best of the Bharatas, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Rudras, Vasu, Ashwini Kumaras, and all the other demigods. Behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard. Even though Arjuna was a personal friend of Krishna and the most advanced of all learned men, it was still not possible for him to know everything about Krishna. Humans have neither heard nor known of all these forms and manifestation. Now Krishna reveals his wonderful forms. So the Lord is demonstrating here how everything is coming from the Supreme. So here the demigods are being shown that how they are all parts and parts of Krishna. Ihaikastham Jagat Krishnam Pasyadya Sacharacharam Mama Dehe Gudakesha Yachanyat Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you now may want to see in the future. Everything moving and unmoving is here, completely in one place. So even the most advanced prophets say, okay, no one can see the entire universe while sitting in one place. Even the most advanced scientists cannot see what is going on in other parts of the universe. But a devotee like Arjuna can see everything. You can see everything that exists in any part of the universe. Krishna gives him the power to see anything he wants to see, past, present, and future. Therefore, a sadhaka is always in a state of dependence and prayer. Because unless Krishna is merciful, we will not be able to see how to serve, how to drive, how to steer through these illusions of this. So to handle the situations of this world, a devotee is always praying to Krishna. Please. So on our own we are lost. When we are connected to Krishna, and one can steer through this most dangerous shackles of the material world. Interestingly, here it is shown that the Lord is saying that in this universal form you can see everything. And, even you can see future. How you can see future? Uh, because this material affairs is repetitive. So it's a creation, annihilation, after that creation. So therefore, because it is repetitive, so one can understand past also, one can understand future also. Krishna's revelation. Because it's repetitive. I'll keep on getting one body after another body after another. So therefore, uh, that is why we see that as long as one is not in touch with Krishna, then actually time is a linear unidirectional progression. Time always proceeds in one direction out of control of you. But when one connects to Krishna, then the time factor seems to lose its grip because now Krishna can do anything. So past, future, present are not much different from each other because Krishna wants he can repeat the same past time. Krishna wants he can expand, he can contract. Krishna is, but from our standpoint, time is a unidirectional flow which cannot be stopped and continued. But when one comes in touch with Krishna, then everything is possible. So therefore, in the universal form, past, present, future, everything was present simultaneously. How is it possible? But because Krishna is the controller. That's the point which is being explained here. न तु मां साक्ष्यसे द्रष्टुम् अनेनैव स्वचक्षुषा दिव्यं ददामि ते चक्षु पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम्. But you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give you divine eyes. Now behold my mystic opulence. A pure devotee does not like to see Krishna in any form except his form of two hands. A devotee must see his universal form by his grace, not with the mind, but with spiritual eyes. To see the universal form of Krishna, Arjuna is told not to change his mind, but his vision. The universal form of Krishna not very important, and this will be clear in subsequent verses. Yet because Arjuna wanted to see it, the Lord gives him a particular vision required to see that universal form. Devotees who are correctly situated in transcendental relationship with Krishna are attracted by loving features, not by a godless display of opulence. The playmates of Krishna, friends of Krishna, parents of Krishna never want Krishna to show his opulences. They're so immersed in pure love that they do not even know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. They're so immersed in pure love that they do not even know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. In their loving exchange, they forget that Krishna is the Supreme. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the boys who play with Krishna are all highly pious souls, and after many, many births, they are able to play with Krishna. Such boys do not know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. They take him as a personal friend. Therefore, Sukadeva Goswami recites this verse 10, 12, 11. Itam satam brahma sukhanubhutya dasyam gatanam paradaivaten mayashitanam naradaraken sakam virajago kitapunya punja. Here is the Supreme Person who is considered impersonal Brahman by great sages, the Supreme Personality of Godhead by devotees, and a product of material nature by ordinary. Now, these boys who have performed many, many pious activities in the past lives are playing with that Supreme Personality of God. The fact is that the devotee is not concerned with seeing Vishnu, but Arjuna wanted to see it to substantiate Krishna's statement so that in future people could understand that Krishna not only theoretically or philosophically presented himself as the Supreme, but actually presented himself as such. Arjuna must confirm this because Arjuna is the beginning of the parampara system. Those who are actually interested in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna and who follow in the footsteps of Arjuna should understand that Krishna has not only theoretically presented himself as the Supreme, but actually revealed himself as the Supreme. The Lord gave Arjuna the necessary power to see his universal because he knew that Arjuna did not particularly want to see it, as we have already explained. Srila Prabhupada always explained this material world is a bad bargain, and therefore Prabhupada would always say that make the best or the good use of the bad bargain. So, a human body, this material world is a bad bargain. But since we are caught up and trapped, let's offer it to Krishna and spiritualize it. So we can make the best use of the bad bargain. Similarly, the devotee is not very much enamored or excited towards the material. A devotee is satisfied with Krishna. So we see the display of material energy is only required for new people, not for devotees. So rather, this display of mental energy for a sincere devotee will be a distraction. It's like a distraction. But some rather level is required for new people, because so that they can start and appreciate that within everything Krishna can be accessed. Just like we see Varnashram, it's a very nice working model for people who are materialistic. They can see that, okay, how I can work also keeping Krishna's side. But for an advanced devotee, Varnashrama, one should not remain stuck up in Varnashrama. One can go beyond it, because then Varnashrama becomes now slow down. So devotee can go beyond. For the new people, it is very attractive. Like so, so that's why Arjuna is for the sake of new people, is asking Krishna that, okay, you can show the universal form. But he himself is so much satisfied and absorbed, and because Krishna knows that, therefore Krishna is agreeing to show the universal form. Like sometimes a one-time program is also like that. The one-time program may be on self-management or how to so there may be a lot of management talk in a seminar. Okay, self-management, time management. So, but for a devotee may like to directly hear Krishna Katha, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Because the new people, they may say, oh, in Gita there is something which we need, wonderful. But the devotee understand Gita, the devotee has gone that stage, beyond that stage. They want direct Krishna Katha. So, simply self-management may not be very attractive. So, one should not remain at that point. One can move forward. That is the point, that because here it is being said that the Lord saw that Arjuna is not at all interested in himself. Therefore, the Lord agrees to show. Because this is a preaching mission for the Lord. Through that material energy, the Lord is revealing himself to attract the hearts of people. For a devotee wants to grab onto the Lord's lotus feet directly and serve the. So let's stop here for today. We continue further from text 9 in our next class. Grantha Shanti Gita ki jai. Prabhupada